Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another exciting video of Saute with Dijava. I'm your host and a certified pastry chef Dushant, and today I've got a very exciting recipe for people who love some Indian sweets. And I do understand that making Indian sweets makes quite a lot of time, but today's recipe can be made in just 5 minutes. Yes, you heard that right. We are making an Indian sweet in 5 minutes. And guess what? This recipe can be made in a dairy-free method as well. Yes, that's exciting. So today what we are going to make is Mango Peda. So you must be surprised because pedas are usually made out of mava and milk. So how could you just do a dairy-free option? Well, that's what this recipe is all about. So you can check out the recipe ahead, but at first, as usual, you would want to check the video out until the end. I will be having an amazing tip lined up for you that would really help you with making more and more Indian sweets to perfection and to power. So let's check out the recipe. For the instant peda or mango burfi recipe, you would be requiring the following ingredients. The basic 3 ingredients include 1.5 to 2 cups of cashew powder. It's cashew nuts powder. Half to 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. Now here I have used lump sugar and I have powdered it at home. I would request you not to use icing sugar because that contains corn flour. So we need sugar that has been minced at home. Lump sugar is the best. If you don't have that, you can do it with regular granulated sugar. And of course the hero of the recipe, that's the mango pulp. Now this pulp is not made in a mixture. I have just cut the pieces and then I've just mashed them to give me a rough paste. This is the least required ingredient in the recipe, but it will still be the hero of the recipe because the recipe will taste exactly of the mango. And even though the cashew nut powder is the cashew flavor will be very subtle. Also, the ingredients which you may use other than this are ghee. Now ghee is something which I suggest you all use. It's very helpful in terms of binding and shaping. So just 1 generous teaspoon of ghee should be more than enough. And I have some elaichi powder, cardamom powder, which is optional completely. And I have some saffron kesar, which I am going to press with this and get the maximum flavor and color out of. So these are basic ingredients. You can work with just these 4 if you like, which is 2 cups of cashew, half to 3/4 cup of powdered lump sugar or any sugar you have. Do not use icing sugar, it contains corn flour. Just 1 spoon of mango pulp and 1 big spoon of ghee. So let's begin. First, whoever is using saffron, I'll just add a little bit of water to this and I will get out the maximum color and flavor of the saffron. You can take as much saffron you like. I have taken a generous pinch. So I'll just press into this. You don't want to add a lot of water. You need very less water here. You need more of the saffron pulp. Okay, so this is ready. I'll keep this aside. Now I'll take any dish, bowl, whatever you prefer. And I will be adding in the cashew powder, but I am not adding in the whole cashew powder. I'll add around 1.5 cups. We have 2 cups here, which is ready. It's always safe to keep a little bit on the side. So I've left this much. I'm keeping it aside. Now I'm adding in the sugar. This again, I won't be using the whole. I'll use around 1/2 cup instead of 3/4. This is my measuring cup for the whole recipe. You can take any cup you prefer, any size you prefer. It will still yield the same recipe. Just that your mango pulp required will be a little more. So now what I'm going to add, I'll add ghee, not all of it, just a little. I'll add the kesar. Kesar is just for the color and the flavor. I am not adding a lot of strands into it, but I'm just adding it mainly for the color. And the cardamom powder. Alright, so now we have this mixture ready. Now I'll just mix it nicely and make it a crumbly kind of dough. Even though the ghee content is very less, but as much of a crumbly mixture you can make because you have added a little bit of the saffron water as well. Okay, so now that everything has been mixed, you can see it's quite crumbly. So now we shall add the mango. Again, I'm not adding all, just add very little at the start, like this much, and just stop there and keep mixing. If you add too much of mango at once, you wouldn't understand the consistency of the dough. So don't add all the mango in at once. As I said earlier, mango is the hero of this recipe, but it's the least required ingredient in the recipe. So yes, we'll require more mango for sure. Again, just a little amount. Little more of the mango. Now if you see that the color is a little bit too light, so if you want you can go ahead and add more of the saffron. I'm adding a little bit more of the saffron. Okay, so now you can see that this has become very sticky, and this was the reason why I first said that we won't add a lot of all the ingredients, we'll leave a little. So now I'm just adding a little bit sugar, just a little bit. This will help me dry out the mixture and it won't change the color as well. Now just a heads up, this recipe won't be as solid and fit as how we do it on the stove. This is a recipe without the stove, so it's something that you should expect. It will be soft, it won't be perfect as we expected when we do it on the stove. Okay, so now it's somewhat firm. And now I will be adding the little bit leftover ghee. This will help in the dough not sticking, and it will give a little bit of aeration that's required in the dough. And see, it's ready. Now I can shape it into whatever I like. If you want just a normal burfi, you can just put it on a grease plate and you can flatten it. I'm going to make pedas out of it, so I'm just going to roll them and shape them. If you want, you can even make laddus out of it. You can make rolls out of it. If you feel that the mixture is too loose, you can still keep adding a little bit more sugar, but don't add more than 3/4 cup because then it gets too sweet, since the mango itself is pretty sweet. So 3/4 cup is the max of the powdered sugar you would like to add. And now see, and now I have got a very firm, nice dough. It's like how Play-Doh is. Yeah, it gets exactly to that consistency. Not too sticky, workable with hand, and there we have it. It's ready. It's completely ready to eat. If you want, you can let it aside for overnight or at least a couple of hours so that it becomes firm, and then you can eat. So I'll just shape these. So now I'll just grease my fingers and hands with a little bit of ghee. Don't use oil, we don't want any oil flavor. And I'll just take a round mound. Don't overwork this, just quickly, because our heat of our hands makes the ghee melt and we don't want that. And as you can see, our peda is absolutely ready, very instant. Especially when you don't have the time, you don't have a loose stove to use, whatever it is, you can just make these super instantly. If you're traveling and you want to make something like this without a gas stove, you can just make this. See, nice and beautiful. So you see, it was that simple to make the pedas. Just 5 minutes and you're done with the dessert. As written in the recipe previously, you can omit the ghee that's used in the recipe to make it a completely dairy-free option. If you want, you can also substitute the ghee for vegan butters. Now for the tip of the day. Sugar is a prominent part of all desserts. You cannot reduce or omit the amount of sugar that's used in a recipe. Sugar plays an important role in creating the texture and also aerating the mixture that you're using. So be sure to use the right amount of sugar that's mentioned in the recipe, especially for dessert. I can understand that we all care about the calories we intake, but we don't tend to make desserts on a daily basis. So we should enjoy them wholesomely and add the right amount of sugar to our desserts to get the perfect texture and the flavor of the dessert. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for viewing it.